Definitely a lot more people than yesterday. Right behind me is the Johan statue. It is almost 10:30, so the parade is almost reached up here to the palace where the royal family will be greeting them. Okay, so we're gonna go walking around a bit and see what else is happening. I decided to leave the Karl Johan Square, and as I was leaving, there was a female that was trying to enter into the square, but they would not let her because she didn't have a ticket. So I decided just to give her my ticket on the way out, so that way she could enjoy the rest of the parade and actually get into the square. So I hope that she enjoys it and is able to appreciate it as much as I did. I made it to Vigeland Park, and as you can see, I'm right up here at the top. I think I chose a very good day to come here. It's about 2100 on my last day here in Oslo. I met with a gentleman named Lars a few hours ago in Holmlia. We walked around and went down through the affluent neighborhoods and then the not so affluent neighborhoods. It's about 7 kilometers, he said, is what the total of that was. I wish that I did have a lot more time, and I know there's a few people that I wanted to meet and wish that I could have met. Today we are driving to Gothenburg, Sweden. I'm actually already in Sweden, about 160 kilometers north of Gothenburg, and I'm exhausted. I'm having a wonderful time though, I'm tired. So hopefully this place I'll be able to get a good bit of sleep and continue on. One thing that I have noticed is the landscape is very similar to where I live in Kentucky. Especially going kind of more east, especially towards Nashville and then going towards the Smoky Mountains. It's a lot of the hills like this, the trees and the rock cliffs on the side of the highway. It's very, very similar. So driving on these highways is a lot like home, but I will tell you, your highways and your roads are much smoother and much nicer. I would prefer to drive on your highway system and prefer to drive on your road system any day of the week compared to driving on the roads that I have at my home. Okay, so I finally made it to the Poseidon statue like I promised that I would. I know I'm running a little bit behind schedule, but at the same time I'm still making it to all the things I planned on making. The weather gods seem to be doing pretty good today. It rained a good bit last night and it was quite chilly this morning. However, it has actually turned out really nice. You can see the sky is clearing up a good bit. Not many people out so far this morning, and traffic seems to be doing all right. I will say though, I'm not a very big fan of driving here in Gothenburg because Out of all the cities I've driven in my life and all the places I've been, Gothenburg so far has been the most complicated, even with 3 forms of GPS running at the same time. So from here, I'm actually going to go get some more sushi for lunch. I had sushi last night for dinner and it was terrific. Some of the best sushi I've ever had in my life. And then on to the Aeroseum, and then back down into Gothenburg, and I will probably be going to Leisberg because that's all the recommendations I've been getting. I honestly have no idea where I'm going. I'm just walking. And a lot of times that makes finding unique things or makes for interesting adventures, because I have no actual plan other than the plans that I have. Some of my first impressions of Gothenburg for sure is that there's a lot more brick. Everything is brick, block, stone, concrete. It's all block. I noticed in Oslo that it was very sleek and modern, and I know further up here and in different areas I can see more sleek and modern designed buildings, but it just seems, obviously architecture is so much different in each city that I've been to, but Gothenburg is way more block, brick, stone than I had imagined. Mr. Candy Store. So we don't have candy stores, anything like this where I'm from, and all the licorice, all the lacquered stuff that many of you have sent me, I did not expect it to be near this much or to this amount of quantity. They have so much different candy here, so many different options. There's just so many different options. And it just goes on and on. There's so much. Look, this is all just different chocolates and all these white chocolates. And the coolest thing to me is that it's all open, like there's no lids to it, and you can just get however much you want and take it up to the cash register. That I find very neat, because again, we don't have anything like this at any store that I've ever been to in the States. I really don't think that they would allow this to be like this in the States. Alright, so I just left the candy store and I bought all kinds of different stuff that I'm going to be giving to friends and family, and especially to my kids. So if you're in this area of Gothenburg and you're near the candy shop, it's actually right across from this area. Let them know that the guy from YouTube sent you. I've made it to the Aeroseum and just walked underground here. The entrance is of course right there, as you can see. I am allowed to climb up into this one. That is exactly what we're going to do. I never pass up an opportunity to get inside of any type of aircraft. Can you imagine? Can you just imagine? I hear you. What it would be like to fly this thing? How long it takes to learn all these different controls, what they do, what they're for, and be able to fly this thing. I couldn't imagine. Now I'm sitting in this open air helicopter. There's nothing like this. Nothing where I'm down inside of the ground in this bunker and the hangar with all these other planes that I can actually get in and play with and really touch and feel and make even more connections than just walking by and reading. You know, a museum is great when you can walk by and see wonderful history, but getting to touch it, see it, feel it, even smell it if that's what you want to do, you can do that here, and I really, really find that cool. As I mentioned previously, whenever I was in Skagen, Denmark at the World War II bunkers, you know, the lives of people that have been affected, regardless of whether they were a part of the operation or not a part of the operation, it affected everybody's lives. That's what this whole entire experience, this whole YouTube has been about, to try and learn more about the world, to try and learn more about other aspects and other things, not just in my home, not just where I'm from. But at the same time, there's so many similarities. It seems that the biggest similarity of them all is war. It's just everywhere you go, any place, any country, and yet there's war. There's history of war. There's history of things that have happened. I had a great time there, especially the fact that I was able to be there almost entirely by myself the whole time. Because when I left, as I was walking out the door, there was about a group of 30, 40 people walking in on a guided tour. So I had the perfect time, perfect place, and all that stuff. When I got back into Gothenburg, I met a long-term subscriber. We went to Haga and enjoyed Swedish meatballs. It is the best meatballs I've ever had in my life. After we enjoyed Haga, we got to go up to the Skansen Fortress, look around, hang out up there for a bit. And I really am appreciative of my subscriber for wanting to hang out with me there in Haga, and for buying me dinner, and for taking me to Leisberg and riding the rides with me. It's wonderful to actually meet a lot of you and to spend time with each of you and to get to know some of you on a more personal basis. I'm going to get some sleep. I'm going to need some rest. I'm on the ferry crossing from Helsingborg over back to Helsingor. It's extremely windy again. It's back to raining and cold. I'll turn the camera around here so you can see. This is the Hamlet's castle, or the castle for Hamlet from Shakespeare that many of you have talked about and asked me to be able to see, or told me I should be able to see while I was on this ferry. Alright, so I'm going to go back down now, back into the decks, and I guess get prepared to get off the ferry and continue on into Denmark.
Viking means warrior of the sea. The Vikings came from all over Scandinavia, and even in their own times were known and feared for their attacks on foreign coasts. In the Viking Age, blockades were established outside the village of Roskilde in order to control the traffic on the fjord. This was where the natural shipping route divided into 3 channels. most direct channel was blocked by 5 old, well-used ships. It is these 5 ships that we see today in the Viking Ship Museum. Roskilde lost its importance during the Middle Ages in favor of the new harbour port of Copenhagen. The blockades were not looked after, and in time were covered by sand and mud. It was forgotten that this was a blockade from the Viking Age. The fjord soon showed that it held a treasure that went beyond our wildest dreams. 5 ships from the Viking Age, the most important ever maritime find in Denmark.
1, 2, 3 og tilbage. 2, 3. Pilgrims. Steps.
Like the Pilgrims.
Step of a pilgrim.
Well, that's my final full day here. Thanks to my plane being delayed by like the entire day, I now get to meet someone else who I had not expected and wasn't planning on meeting, but at the same time, I'm very glad that I do get to meet him. So whenever he arrives, we're going to have some ramen here at this ramen place. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Been to one like this before?
Not exactly like this, no.
Okay, because I know you said last time.
Of course, souvenir shops everywhere.
Yeah. This whole street is a ton of souvenir shops and pedestrian shopping.
After spending the day with Derek from Robe Trotting, it was time to finally head back home. I wish that I had a whole lot more time to spend and explore, but I will tell you, this trip has only continued to ignite and fuel the fire and desire to travel and explore more and continue learning about other cultures and other parts of the world other than just the Kentucky that I've always known. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope that you have a great day, great night, whatever time it is that you see this. It's me, Bryson P. Goodbye.